This episode is brought to you by Whitaker Garage Doors, your one-stop shop for all things garage doors, proudly based in Peekskill, New York. Your home is a direct reflection of your personal style, and let's face it, your garage doors are the first thing people see when they pull up your driveway. Whether you're looking for the timeless charm of a classic carriage house door or the clean, sleek look of a basic wood finish, Whitaker Garage Doors offers traditional options for every taste and budget. I can personally vouch for their incredible service. When I had my own garage doors done, I was blown away by their timeliness, professionalism, and overall respect for their clients. Jonathan, Cassara, and their entire team are top-notch, and they really go the extra mile to ensure you're happy with the final result. So if you're in the market for a new garage door or need some repairs, give them a call or find them on Instagram at Whitaker_doors. Don't forget to tell them you're a friend of Dave's over at the No Snooze podcast. Whitaker Doors. You won't regret it. Now, back to the epi. Adversity? Bring it. The struggle? I welcome it. Snooze on life? Never that. I am Dave Regina, and this is the No Snooze podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 236. As always, I'm in the booth. We got four today. We have Claudio the Voice, Valenzuela, and I am with the power couple. The Piscitellis are in the building. Welcome, Sabby and Amanda.
That sounds good,
That
babe.
does sound
The
good.
Piscitelli.
You
I
like
like it.
I like it.
So listen, just a little housekeeping stuff. If you guys want to learn about Sabby individually, we aired episode 197 there, and we just did one with Amanda as well, episode 235, the one right before this, or 236. Who knows? The numbers are all off here. But today, I want to talk about love. I want to talk about leadership. I want to talk about this power couple right here. So first off, welcome back to New York with these beautiful tans that you guys got going on.
Thank you. Yeah, we did a nice family vacation, so we're nice and bronzed. But yes, thanks for having us. We're excited.
Absolutely, man. We're excited to be back here for the summer. Get back on the No Snooze podcast, and all is good, brother.
Let's get it. I mean, I roasted you before. Okay, it's not as small as I thought. So
It's
I roasted
actually
you
not,
on the
but
last
yours is
podcast
wider.
with the team Stanley. So I was telling Mandy before that, I'm Team Yeti all day.
Yep.
I saw a meme on Instagram of a chick walking around with a Stanley as a, it was like a garbage can.
Like a big
It was
bucket,
a big
yeah.
bucket with like a big straw in it. And I was like, I can't do it. So that's cute.
Well, you know, see, this is what happens when you ask your wife to order you the same
Oh,
one
I already
she
told them
has.
the story.
And I unbox it, and it's like a 30 ouncer. She has like a 42
No, guys,
ouncer.
this is
and
what
I'm like, hold on, why you give me the mini one?
This is what happens when your husband doesn't want to order his own things off Amazon when he has his own Amazon account. And he's like, just order me one.
But
It's
hold
in your
on,
thing.
Hold on.
Go ahead. Let's
You
do
and
it.
I both know when you have like the history of your order, you can just click on the history of your order.
Yep.
Boom, buy.
Why
It's
do
like
I
30
get
seconds.
stuck with all
Why
the
could-
history?
And
and
no, I will
everything?
say, I think you're like me in this regard. Like, I'm not the most techie.
Nah, I'm not.
He's
the most
not.
techie
You
He's
saw
either.
me with the
not.
parking just now.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
You were like,
I'm not the most techie.
I said, man, I'm just looking at my phone, like nothing's happening. She's like, you got to type, bro. You got to put Park Mobile.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm definitely
He's
not.
not. Yeah.
My patients are not good sometimes.
No.
All right, cool. So all things relationship today. How did you guys first meet? And with the meeting, what was the first impression of each?
Oh, I like that.
want me to
We
go
actually
first?
just talked about that. Yeah, you can
did.
go first.
Well, actually, we met in Orlando and NXT. I was in NXT WWE, and she was on a show called Tough Enough. And they were filming a show. They had like this built-out warehouse. They were filming.
What year is this?
The show. This was 2015.
15.
So they were filming the show in like they call it the barricades, like a warehouse, and it was right next to our facility. And I remember the first time we actually we were working out. We were all in the weight room, and the crew walked through the weight room, and there was like
There's a few hotties.
Yeah, there's a few hotties, right?
Not just me.
And there was a couple girls
I'll
that
admit.
everyone was talking about already, right? And they walked through the weight room. I'll never forget. I was working out with Apollo, actually, big old jacked up, strong guy, and we both were putting on plates for bench press, right? And as they walked through, he forgot to put on the 25. So it was funny because we were putting on 275. So it was 245s and 25. So I'm putting mine on. And they were like walking through as it was happening, but I still remembered to grab my 25 and put it on. But he got so distracted. So we're talking. I'm like, man, you love my second man. Blah, 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 blah. So I go to put up the bench press, and it almost went like sort of wobbling. I look at him like, bro. So all jokes aside, but they walked through, and I remember she kind of caught my attention right away. Obviously, caught a lot of people's attention, but that was the first time I saw Mandy. But then I kind of just started watching the show and started evolving. But that was like my first interaction of Mandy.
That's awesome.
Like,
and we weren't really like allowed to like even the way they treated us on Tough Enough. It was very separate from like. He was in the company already, right? But we weren't, in the company. We were just on the reality show. So they didn't allow us to like, just keep walking straight. They didn't even want us like looking at the guys or the girls. It was like very weird. So I remember obviously seeing them, but I don't know if that's the first time I actually like saw you specifically. I think the first time I saw you was out that night, right? In the club. In the club.
In the club.
And he caught my eye because a lot of the guys were very like, I don't know, a lot of them were like wrestler, how do you describe like the wrestler look to make it more like, I don't know, I felt like they were
like Ken dolls.
Yeah. No, he was the Ken doll.
doll.
He's the Ken doll, but he didn't, okay, he stood out to me because he didn't look like a lot of the other guys.
They're like thicker, but not nearly as like pierced
yeah, and a
as
little
you are.
more like, it's hard to explain.
Well, mature. The thing was, you gotta understand one thing. So I went from the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got approached by WWE, I didn't know how to wrestle, right? I knew nothing. So I had to kind of go to NXT, which is like, it's like their minor leagues, but it's basically like it's became their own brand, so it's a huge name. But that being said, a lot of people that are NXT are like a kind of young and up and comers that really haven't had any success or haven't had anything about, they're chasing their dream. They're still like on like the almost like high school, college level if you want to compare it to football. So I stood out because I was really kind of like, a little more mature. I was older and I carried myself differently.
He's also in like a three-piece suit, which I was like, oh, that's hot.
And the thing was for me, it was like one of the things where I kind of was, I wouldn't say, you don't want to say more mature, but like kind of more advanced in life or where I was at in my life than what most of these, gentlemen were at.
And it kind of goes back to what you preach a lot now that I'm thinking about it because you explained it well. It's kind of like he stood out to me because like the way he presented himself.
He was more of a man.
Yeah.
Let's just call it what
exactly.
it is.
Swag.
I mean, you were a man amongst boys.
It was more of the way like his demeanor, because at the club you were in a button down. I remember you had you were dressed up and he was in a button down and I was like, oh, that guy's obviously he's good looking, but it was more just like he had like this maturity about him where I felt like the other guys were a little bit like little like young and like
but I
whatever.
was older, right? I mean, I was probably 5 or 6 years older than most of the
but
guys.
with tons
I was
of
around.
professional experience.
Exactly,
too.
right? I come from, again, it was a humbling experience, and we talked about in the last podcast, but it was something where, I think that's just the way you carry yourself can really attract women also, and vice versa, right? So,
but I also wasn't in the right mindset or headspace to be like checking out other men because I had a serious boyfriend at the time.
Right.
But a lot of my life was like going in all different directions, and I all of a sudden got put on the show, and my life was just changing, and I wasn't ready to really like get married at that time, and that was kind of where it was going at that point. So we actually became really good friends.
We were, we were
that night
really
we all hung out a little bit.
Yeah.
My friend actually, funny story. We were all just like having a good time, and we somehow ended back at your place.
Somehow.
But I was taken, so obviously, like we were all just like hanging out. You were actually showing us like how to cut promos, which was so cringe. Now that you think about it, remember?
What's that mean?
Gigi?
Cut promos what?
Oh,
promos is like when a WWE character has to do on TV or live shows and stuff. So
you cut a promo.
Yeah, so
you were helping us.
We
out
actually
a
all
bit.
ended up in the hot tub, but again, it was something
Just
that
happened to.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how we ended up there.
But no, she was
No, but
honestly she was a class act, and she actually removed herself from the situation when anything was going to go down. So I kind of admired that about her. And I think, we make a joke about it now. It's kind of like the best thing that didn't happen that night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you know how the men
absolutely.
can relate to that. So that, and again, we actually, as we dive into this, we were actually friends way before we had any kind of, a sexual relationship or anything like that. So I think that's key to sometimes,
So
building
important.
a strong relationship. It really is.
Yeah, I had a really good friend, Daria, who's still my good friend, but we would travel together. But like me, her, and Sabby became really close as a group. We'd go to his house, he'd cook us food, whatever, and we were all just good friends. I mean, obviously, I always had like a little attraction for him, but it wasn't the right
was
time.
respectful.
It was
Yeah.
respectful, yeah. So we both like waited, and then when the right time was is when we kind of started. But we both had our past and our issues, which, you know, we can get into. But like, we were very good friends. And I think that was a big part of our relationship and a big foundation of the both of us, because the two of us, like, I don't know, we got to know each other as like friends would, right? And I just feel like now we look back at, you know, where we're at today, and we spend almost every day together all day. So like, if I didn't like you as a friend, putting like the husband side of it, like it would never work, because he would drive me nuts, right? Yeah. Like you can't be with someone if you don't get along with him, or you don't have the same, you know, similarities, and we like both like to work out. So I feel like that really helped us like help our relationship grow even more, because we were so close as like friends too.
So something interesting though, and I've spoken to you about this, but most people would think that you probably had a very serious relationship prior to this, but you really didn't settle down with a woman at any point because you were so serious about your business in the NFL specifically, right?
Crazy thing was, she was the first woman I ever lived with, 38 years old.
That's crazy.
Which is wild,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, amazing.
Years old. We actually bought a house together, and that was the first time that we lived together, was our beautiful house in South Florida. But what's crazy, kind of like you said about that, was for me as a man, like, again, I was so focused on my career and I was so driven that I was, you know, and I'm not saying it's a distraction, but at that time I was just laser focused on it. And I think, you know, when I first moved in with her, like really moved in with her, I almost kind of regretted maybe not doing it earlier, because you miss that woman's touch, you miss that beautiful home, you miss everything about that. But for me, it was something that was, you know, a first time for me, which was rare, I think. You know, 38 years old, that's kind of.
What was the thing that bothered you the most when she first moved in?
Oh,
well, you first moved into my townhouse, really.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
And then we
like
bought our house.
In a month, I had a house in Tampa, and
we were going back and forth.
Yeah, I was going back. I didn't want to go back and forth anymore, so I actually stayed with her in her condo for like about a month and a half.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll be honest with you, Dave. There's nothing that she does that bothers me.
Really?
I'll be honestly, and I
not
think,
even the little things.
Dude, that's a great question. Let me think.
I'm
for
sure there's
2
something.
seconds.
Well, go ahead. You think. I'll give you some context.
Yeah.
So I'm terrible because I have a thing with sounds, and Katie, love her to death. I mean, that ride or die all day.
I already got
but
it.
like sometimes when she takes a sip of water, it's a little loud, and she goes.
Yeah.
All right, you so
Okay.
All right,
I think I know what he's
The
going to say.
one thing that it will blow your mind is how loud Mandy
blow my nose.
blows her nose. Well, I'm not even being funny
knew
with
it
you.
was coming.
And she does it every
Like a horn?
time after a shower.
Oh, it's a horn.
So I should
It's
I'm
my
going to shower.
family, though.
And
It's an Italian thing, I think.
Dude.
Well, you
Yeah.
don't do that? Your family didn't do that?
No.
Have you heard my
No.
brother and my dad?
She blows her nose. You could hear it from any part of the house, outside, wherever you're at. And it's something that I'm like, and it's always after a shower, though. It's weird. It's right after a shower.
Because
She gets
the
it.
Because
water.
it's hot, the water.
Yeah, the water. I have to like get it out.
Honestly, you know what I love about both of us? I think like, you know, I always thought like even growing up, like even living by myself, my mom used to tell me like, the longer you live by yourself, the longer you're stuck in your ways, and you're gonna get irritated.
Yeah.
But we're so similar in the, you know, the neatness, the structure.
We are.
And I think something that like, you know, like I said, now that you asked me a question, there's nothing that she does that like bothers me day to day, except for maybe the loud blowing the nose.
Yeah, it's little
Yeah,
sounds
and-
like that are just
for
irky.
sure.
What about you?
And well,
Talk
it's
to me.
funny you
She
say
gotta
that.
listen.
I'm actually curious.
Hold on,
Is
pull
there-
the
Hold on
receipt.
one second.
Babe, I wanna know. Tell me.
Pull the
No,
receipt out.
what I was gonna say actually, which you'll appreciate, is I started to get like that a little bit with a past relationship where like it's not good when like little things start to bother you, like stupid things, because then you're like, okay, is this really bothering me, or is it just like you're
Right.
getting irritated? So I just thought of that. Anyway, side note. But I will say, so this one thing that we, so the one thing that we like sometimes fight about, he's very loud. He's a loud person.
Animated.
So animated, yeah.
Yeah. Tone, very aggressive.
So sometimes his tone, he doesn't mean it in a bad way, but it's even like, babe, where'd you put the olive oil? And it's like, and I'm like, whoa, like you're right here, like why? And I think he's like mad at me, but then I realize, and I'm still realizing today, to this day, you know, because I still get on him for it. And he's like, you just got to realize, like, this is just how and I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's just how he speaks, and like he doesn't mean it in a bad way, but sometimes I think he's like yelling at me, and I'm like,
Well, her initial reaction is, you know, because she's such an alpha, which is a great thing. But when, like, we don't fight much. When we do fight, there's 2 alphas going hard.
Yeah.
And the thing is, she grew up with 3 brothers, so I think she was always in a defensive mode. Like she always wanted to defend herself for everything. So if her brother said something to her, you know, so even with her, once my tone goes a little bit high, instantly Mandy goes into like a defensive. I gotta react and protect myself. Meanwhile, you don't have to react and protect yourself because I'm not attacking you. I'm just literally maybe speaking at a higher tone, and I get excited or something.
Animated.
Yeah,
It's
animated,
animated,
100%. Like, so it's like, so all of a sudden she's like, you're rude. I'm like, hold on, how's that rude? Like, I wasn't even deliberately making a comment towards you. I was almost just, my tone changed, right? I get aggressive sometimes.
But you make a good point, because I do think it has a lot to do with my upbringing.
It is,
because
100% do you
my
upgrade. I've
dad's
watched
not-
you
my
develop
dad-
into it.
Yeah, my dad's a quiet
Katie got
guy.
the same thing, and she didn't grow up with 3 brothers, so I'm relating
don't
it
know.
to just being a woman. I don't know. This
That
is
is
me.
true.
I mean, I think it could be a little bit of both.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
sure. But I do think, like, I remember multiple times being at the dinner table with, my 3 brothers, my mom, my dad, whatever, and I felt like that, we talked about it on the other podcast episode. It's like, if I had to defend myself, or like they called me something, like I'm a little sensitive. Like I would get,
100%.
but I do feel like I need to be like, whoa, hold up, like. And I am a little bit feisty in that aspect. And I'm sure Katie is too.
Yeah, then the problem is it goes spiral. Then she gets an attitude.
Yeah.
She retaliates, and then I'm like, I retaliate. Next thing you know, we just got into a fight that has nothing to do
Nothing to
with
do with
anything.
anything.
Nothing. We're looking at each other like, wait, what are we fighting
Like the
about?
other night,
Really?
I actually defended her. I said something like to defend her, but I
She's
said
like,
it
"Why are you
loud.
yelling at me?"
But, yeah, I said it loud, and she's like, "You don't have to be rude." And I'm like, "Hold on, I was just like defending you." But yeah, no.
So
it's,
you guys are very
Still
normal.
working
we can
on
say.
it,
I think everybody listening is like, "Phew, okay, good. I'm in a normal relationship.
Right? I know.
It's just those little things, man.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's just it's good to hear that these are the things, because everybody can relate to it.
Exactly.
I mean, 100% the same way. But I can also relate to you because we are alpha men, and just that alone, whether it's intimidating to our female counterpart or not, it's just a fact because of how we sound. And you're very about your business in every aspect of life. So there is that piece that they want, that little like softer side, but it's very hard for us to kind of do
Yes.
that, especially when we're reactive to
Absolutely,
things, right?
Absolutely.
But that's what I love about him the most too, is that like that I didn't see too much growing up, and we've talked about this on our podcast. The vulnerability, like you guys, and I've seen you act like this as well. The way you speak, it's like when an alpha man like that can be vulnerable though, and can like take accountability and can get down to my level, or whatever it may be, a woman's level, I should say, like where they're a little more emotional, just by nature. It's a very attractive thing, and it's very nice to see, and it's very comforting, and like it's a sense of security, because a lot of men sometimes think that it's not cool or tough to get upset over something or talk about your feelings. Like it's kind of like how my brothers are a little bit, because that's kind of like how we were raised, and it no hard feelings to my parents, but it's like it's kind of just like that old school mentality of like you got to be tough, like get up, you're good, like. But it's like, well, let me talk. Can I talk about how I feel a little bit? Like, so I do, like Sabby's really good with that, which I do love, and I want our kids to be like that as well.
They
When
will,
that time
absolutely.
comes.
But that's a powerful statement coming from a powerful female, that most people should rewind that back, especially if you're looking for a relationship.
Yes.
And it hasn't worked out for you. You're not hearing that from a man. You're hearing that from one of the most powerful women in the
Thank
world. So I
you.
think that's a very important piece.
Absolutely.
How did the transition from friendship to intimate relationship happen?
Well,
She was, it's funny thing was when we first met, like I said, she was in a serious relationship. I was going through a kind of an ex back and forth, like long distance. It was kind of toxic, but it was just what it is. And as it transitioned, she actually got engaged, like when we became friends, and I kind of thought their relationship was rocky, and she would talk to me as friends about it. And I kind of was like, okay, give her advice, and then she got engaged, and I think it was more of a, I don't want to speak for another gentleman, but like he was a fear of losing, so she got engaged. So then that kind of like put a hold on ours for a while, and then she tried her thing, and it didn't work, and then we kind of about a year later, she finally realized that she was making a move, and because we were such good friends, we transitioned to, we actually went on vacation. Like we went to we just got away for a couple days, shut reality off, and it was good because it was kind of like the first test of like, all right, like we know there's something here. I know it's kind of quick to like after this, but I think it's something that we can start slowly. And that transaction, it was rocky. It wasn't smooth,
yeah,
right?
we
It wasn't
had a lot of
smooth.
ups and downs.
It wasn't smooth. I was a little cautious because I felt that she's coming out of an 8-year relationship, right? It's pretty solid. That she needed some time to grieve, kind of, go through the process of healing. And she's acted like she didn't, but I think she did. And then I still kind of had stuff I was dealing with more personal, where I was in my life, where I was in my career, where I was at living. And I wasn't happy. I really wasn't. And to be honest with you, it was a struggle where I was at in my life from a lot of aspects. So I wasn't the man that I should have been for her. And I'm grateful now that I look back that she stayed with me through those times, through my mistakes. But I also think she needed that time to grow and realize exactly what she wanted. So that transaction kind of, it was like I would say 6 to 12 month process. It wasn't smooth.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I think a lot of it too is like, because Sabby was feeling that type of way, like I never felt like he was fully like I always felt like it was like 1 foot in, but like 1 foot out a little bit too. So in my defense, I was always like, he says that I kind of had that wall up, which I did. But like, I think I had that wall up because I was like, well, I don't really think he's fully in. So like, if I don't think you're fully in, then like, I don't know and I'm a little guarded to begin with. And I had my, things that I had to work out, whatever. But I think that was a big part of it. And then we kind of were on and off for a little while until our little rekindle in New York.
And I think it's something that if I was, it's okay to talk about it now, even though she's sitting right here. I think when it comes to that as men, I think we control that narrative as a man when we make the decision to be all in, right? When we make the decision to give everything we have to that woman. And I think us men, as you grow up and go through life, sometimes men have that being afraid of committing all in.
Yeah.
And for me personally, like we broke up a couple times, never really lost touch, like never lost communication, but it was kind of like the roads. And then I think my time was, my wake up call was just, we broke up and I just remember like waking up one day and I was like, hold on, is she on a date with somebody? Is she hanging out with somebody?
You didn't like that.
And I just like, I kind of looked in the mirror and I was like, what are you doing, man? Like as a man, you have a beautiful woman that wants to be with you and you can't fully commit. So I actually went down to South Florida. We actually took a trip to Tulum. I'll never forget it. We had a house, like we had on the beach. We had a little hut on the beach. Cute. And it was 3 days of just amazingness with both of us. And I actually made a vow right there and then that I will never, ever lose her again. And I will be 100% all in. And whatever that content, every guy's different. But for me, I knew what I had to do. You know, you have to cut everything off. You have to be all in. You have to be fully committed.
Get rid of the crazy ex-girlfriends.
And you got to get rid of the, all that stuff. And
that's a must.
It's when a man makes a decision to be all in, and I can say this now, they're sitting right here, everything in our relationship just
went for the better. Like
physical,
crazy.
mental, sexual, everything that you can even think of as a man, that it just went to a realm that I couldn't even imagine. And I still think every day it's going up, up, up. And I think that's the beautiful thing about when you pick your partner, it should be like that, right? Every single day it should be improving. And yeah, you have bumps in the roads. But for me, I think the biggest factor for us was making a decision for me as a man.
Yeah, and I feel like, just to piggyback off that, like people from the outside looking in, that's why we like to do this on our podcast, is like, we're trying to be the most real we could be, because I think, on social media that it's not always the glitz and the glamour and like, oh, they must have the most perfect relationship. It's like, no, we've been through a lot, obviously. I mean, the first time, little funny story, when I moved in to his house in Orlando, him and his brother lived together. His brother lived with him, and it was quick because I didn't want to renew my lease and I didn't want to start a new lease. And he was like, oh, just move. Yeah, I was like, no problem. So I moved all my stuff upstairs to this extra bedroom. And I had this moving company that helped me move. I think the guy was from he was like Polish or something. And shit hit the fan. We don't have to get into that, some stuff with whatever. And I was like, I'm getting out of here because I'm like, he's not ready for this. I'm going to move to Fort Lauderdale. I was able to move because I was on the main roster. I'm like, I don't want to do this, whatever. So I called the same company. And they literally picked up my stuff not far long after, remember? And the guy was so confused because he just moved me in. He's like, that shit didn't work out.
Ooh,
but the good news is I left frozen burgers in his room.
Frozen turkey burgers.
Turkey burgers.
My whole house.
Hamburger.
Brother.
Don't ask why I had them in a box.
Brother.
I left them in the house upstairs. Not on purpose, but maybe it was on purpose. I don't know. And him and his brother were like, what the fuck is that smell? And it was up there,
bad,
in a box, and
we couldn't get the smell off
my car
too,
or something. It was bad.
Oh my god!
So that's just side note, but
that's hilarious.
That was karma.
That was karma.
No, yeah. I agree 100% with what you're saying, just on the man making the decision, because it does something to a woman to fully allow, I guess, the relationship to now flourish, and I can relate to that too. So I was married with the same woman for a long time, get the divorce, obviously. Then I'm kind of dating, but just focusing on my daughter, but still seeing, some women. And then finally settling down with Katie. We're dating for about a year and a half or so. And then again, though, now it's like, okay, well, I am kind of comfortable living on my own because now I've been living on my own for the past couple of years. And it was the opposite of you, right? Like I had never lived on my own, but then I got to a place.
Right.
And then I was kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that conversation. So when she would bring it up, she's like, like, I'm willing to, move in and like we need to have the conversation. And I'm like, yeah, like we'll get to it. But subconsciously what I was doing, I was really just putting something off. I knew that I wanted to be with her, but for whatever reason, I wasn't fully diving in. And then the second that I did that and I gave her a key and we now started this, life together, everything in the relationship went pew.
Yep.
No, it's
even more. So I
amazing.
can just, I guess, echo what you're saying. So that's 2 examples of it now.
Yeah.
And I think that's what men listen to this. Everybody, you go through different times in your life, right? Some people, they want a career, they want to have fun. That's fine. Go through all of it because in the end goal, that will make you a better man. But if I had to get some advice, if you really want to be in love and you really want to get to points that you can't even imagine with your significant other, all in, fully committed. Don't be looking at girls, shut down the pornography, whatever you think you need to do, take rid of all that and just focus on one woman. Everything, when you focus on one woman, it just like you said, it just boom, blows up. So it's amazing.
You said something. I'm curious your take on this. So Instagram is a big thing, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you see the pictures that he likes? And because I think a lot of men miss this part because I know my girlfriend is very aware.
Oh, yeah.
And very aware.
Oh, so am I.
And she sees, chicks that I follow. And if there's like any level of inappropriate picture and if my name is on it, like that's not a good look for me.
Right.
And I think a lot of guys don't think that way.
They don't.
But I think it's a big thing for women. Am I right here?
Yes, it is. And I don't even know if you know this, but like before we were really serious, like going back to Sabby's not that great with the tech. And even like when Instagram first started, he probably like, and I felt like I used to look and see like who he was following.
Oh yeah, you got on me about that.
No, because he was following like all these random like, whatever. I don't even want to say it, but like weird women. Like it looked like it was just weird. And I'm like, what do you do? And I felt like, remember when I asked you and you were like, I don't even know how I started following her. And I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of like, it looks weird. Like you're following like all these like porn girls. Like, I don't know. But they were like
industry female.
But like, I don't know
that's
what
not
they
true
were.
at
What
all.
were they? They were whatever they were. It doesn't matter.
That's
Models.
not true.
Yeah,
exactly.
but like
models.
interesting
IG models.
ones.
Yeah.
Interesting ones. Anyway, not like me, IG model. But like anyway, so then I'd be like, okay. And then like I think then you like you didn't even know.
No, there was a time where I went through a whole Instagram and I was like,
You're
just
like,
stop
who are you
following all these people.
And he kept saying like, I don't even know how I find.
That
I
was
would
a
laugh.
while ago.
It was
that
so
was
long
still,
ago.
That was like when we were still like in the
of
rocky
But
roads.
to your point, yes, I think men don't realize that it probably does affect the women because they see it. And I know even from like one of my friends who's married, she brought up something not too long ago and I was like, damn, I'm like, it's true. And like, she doesn't have any issues like with her husband and when it comes to like security reasons, but like she got bothered by it. And I was like, okay, well, that's a prime example.
Absolutely. And I could tell you this, even some of my close boys, when Katie sees their name on some of these pictures, she's like, yo, why are you boys doing this? Like, so more eyes are on it than, and they're in committed relationships and married, you know what I mean? So it just puts off an image. And I don't even know if they're just tapping it to tap it or whatever.
Yeah.
But to a female, obviously, it's just not like, I gotta be honest, I wouldn't want to go see like some really fly dudes unless it's my circle.
Right.
And random dudes and my girl's name is the first one on it.
Yeah.
Like that, you know?
I know what you mean.
No, listen, I 100% agree. And I think that goes back to when you're all in.
Right.
When you're all in, right? And the reality is, if you're sitting there commenting on girls' pictures and you're staring at girls' pictures, that means you're not all in, right? And I could say this now, and please don't take this the wrong way if you're listening to this, because I was that guy, right? When I was young and all that stuff, whatever, you chase all these different girls, you look. But when you get to a point and you're truly in love, and I tell this to her all the time, like I still see women all the time, right? I still see women on Instagram all the time that are pretty, but I don't even look at them the same anymore. Like it's hard to explain, right? It's not even like in a way that like, obviously I would never in a million years even go down a route of entertaining.
You got one in the chamber.
No, but it's I think, not because she's sitting right next to me.
No, I know.
It's such an amazing feeling when you get to that point because I never had that feeling in my life.
It's hard.
Like never, ever, ever until I met my beautiful wife. And I think now, like, it's like, and we're both obviously in the social media eye. We both have our success.
Yeah.
We both have, all this stuff. And we get comments, right? But it's just like you laugh them off, and it's not anything you entertain. Like, I mean, I see, if I go to her page with like 4 million followers, you see guys, check your DM, check your DM, check it.
I will say,
weirdos.
I will say we're in a little bit of a different boat because of that situation of like, especially, with my fan base and all that. And Sabby does a really good job, like totally turning that off because you can't
because he's a real man.
Well, exactly. And he's confident and all that. So it doesn't.
I was going to go back.
Yeah. And it doesn't
I was
bother
about to say
him
that.
like
I
that.
said, listen, man, and this is just honesty. We talked about this on our podcast. People ask me, like, how do you even right now, like my wife is doing so well on the social media and people know how much money she's making sometimes, but it's all over the place. And it's like, but most guys are, you're not intimidated by that? And I'm like, no, because I know I'm confident who I am as a man and what I've accomplished. And that's why I think in a relationship that's very important is that if you have that insecurity, bro, your relationship's already going down the wrong path. And at the end of the day, like, I mean this humbly, like, if she's going to cheat on me, she's going to lose a great man, right? Mm-hmm. And if I cheat on her, I'm going to lose an incredible woman. You have to view them both in the same boat. You got to know that if she wants to make that stupid-ass mistake, go ahead and make that stupid mistake. You just lost the best thing that ever happened to you, right? But vice versa. If I make a stupid mistake, I just lost the best thing that ever happened to me. And I think that has to be a mutual respect there. And I think it comes from waking up every day, working on yourself, creating a lifestyle, trying to be the best version of yourself, because then all those insecurities that these men get or women get, go out the window because you're the best version of yourself. Yeah. So at the end of the day, if something happens tomorrow, I know that I am the best version of myself. And if I go back out in the real world, I'm not gonna have a problem getting a date or attention or this because I am who I am. And I think she has the same mindset. And I think like that is a way you should view your relationship. Make yourself better and don't get complacent, because complacency leads to insecurities. Mm-hmm. And that's my belief in that aspect of it. So I honestly, I don't even care if she entertains guys, because honestly, like, I'm just like, all right, well, that guy's not as good as I am. In a humbling way, I mean that, right? He's not who I am. And I think she says the same thing about herself. So that's a good way to look at it.
It's tough because social media is so prevalent in everyone. But I see what you mean by, like, you're kind of scrolling and you see whether it's a hot chick or, a good looking guy with a shirt off, whatever it may be. And it's like the first name is like your significant other. Yeah, it could be a little bit like respecting, like, all right, you don't really want to see that. But I think we all know that, like, we're not. If you did like it, even if it's like, it's not that big of a deal because it's like, whatever. It's Instagram, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of both.
It definitely is. But also I think a lot of men too, even if you're not liking it per se, but like one of the best compliments I ever got from Katie was when she was talking to one of her friends, and she was talking about a moment that I didn't even think was a powerful moment at all. But I'm in bed, she's next to me, and I have my Instagram homepage open. And she starts like lurking over, like looking at the homepage, and she's like, wow. And I'm like, what I do? Yeah. And she's like, there's not one girl on your on your popular For You feed or something. Yeah, like whatever it is. And I'm like, why would there be? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if most men would have that. But my toxic trait is watches. So like watches are plastered all over it. That's a different conversation. But like for me, I intentionally don't look at that stuff. But you have to make a conscious decision because you can not like it. But if your feed is just all these women, what do you think your brain is doing?
Oh, of course.
Like when I was making all these bad decisions and I was drinking and I was in the clubs, that's all that was in my feed.
See it,
and all the models and all the bottles were just all over the place. But that was the life that I was living.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think there needs to be a little reevaluation process. If you want to be that way, then cool, continue to do that. But 100%. If you're trying to look for some level of a relationship where somebody can meet you halfway, I think that can be something that you could do. Clean up
Absolutely.
100%. I agree.
100%.
Yeah.
No, I agree with it. And like you said, it's kind of a bad look if like you're my boy, and like, you're my boy, and you're like, yo, Sab, why are you looking at all these? Like, it's a bad look. It almost makes the person look like, okay, so you're not all in. So yeah, it is. Yeah. Respect your significant other when it comes to that. That's all I would say on that aspect of it.
Definitely.
I want to get a little dirty here. How do you guys handle disagreements? Because this is tough. This is a tough one.
Got enough time for this one? I'm kidding.
In any relationship. So, for Katie and I, we're very similar. Same type of thing. Like two like bold people that want to say a lot in a moment. But like I've now, gone through years of therapy where my old version, look, we're going to talk about disagreements. She's like,
don't worry,
stay tamed, babe. Stay tamed. Hand on the leg. So my old version of handling things was to just ignore it and then blow up to the point that like I'm just going to snap on you and then you're going to retreat. Right? And this was not with Katie. This was in my previous relationships. To then going through therapy and wanting to like talk and fix things. to now being in a healthy relationship where now I want to address things immediately. And that doesn't really work for Katie. Like, she needs some time. And just the other day, she was like, you know what, I'm going to go out for a walk, like take some time to myself, but came back and I was like, okay, good, let's talk. But she still wasn't really ready. And I kind of like, I kind of just kept ticking. And then we get into like a little blowout.
Yep.
You know, and there's this balance of like trying to find the right amount of time in between, but then also allowing the other one to speak. So I'm curious, do you guys have like a formula that you could share with us when you guys fight?
We would love to know the formula because we need it. No, I think every couple, like you're explaining what happened to you guys, and I think I could relate to Katie in the sense of I'm a little bit like that too, where I'm trying better though to actually like go for that walk because I think it will help me. Because sometimes I think the both of us, because we are both very alpha and like our personalities are similar too, where like once we start yelling or it's getting loud, we're not even listening to what each other are saying.
And so you're not even talking about the real issue
exactly,
anymore, right?
and you're not even. It becomes so stupid. But now we're just. Excuse me. Now we're just yelling at each other, and I can't even get my sentence out because you're already yelling. So I actually told someone recently, my friend, I said, I think I do a better job if I go for a walk and let it simmer sometimes. And it sounds really stupid, but sometimes if I like text him because I can say what I want to say and then he can say what he wants to say, it sounds stupid because you think this is the opposite. Like texting isn't the best communication, but then we actually get our points across and we actually like rationalize more. Like we're not good when it comes to like, if it's already there, like we're just two bulls and we can't, right? Like you would say?
No, I agree 100%, but I think it's also, you said, I think it's a constant work at it. I think it's continue to have better communication. But like you said, I think, you know, I have my ways of dealing with things. She has her way of dealing with things. And I think the one thing I see with both of us is I could get hot and high quick, but I can drop quick too.
Yeah.
You can give me like 5 minutes and be good, right?
And they're like, wait, what?
And 4 hours later, she's like still mad about the same thing. And sometimes I tell her like, let me run my, like, let me get mad and get hot. And then like maybe 2 minutes later, like if she doesn't say anything, it's all good. Like if I'll come up to her and be like,
I find that so toxic.
I'll come up to her and be like, babe, I'm so sorry. Like that was on me. And I'll do that in like 3 minutes, no joke.
That's me,
right?
bro.
But if she counters right away, okay, now just counter. And then like you said, she disappears or whatever. And then it's like, I'll even apologize or something. And then like 3 hours later, I still see her carrying an attitude around. And I'm like,
because women are different. Obviously, women are built differently than men, right? So I feel like men have a better way of, like even when you're with your boys, right? This is a perfect example. You guys, when you're with your boys, I've seen it. I grew up with 3 older brothers. You guys will fight about something, like get hot at each other, and then 2 seconds later, you're like dapping your it's love. It's no problem. Girls that fight.
I'm not talking to you for 6 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like you see girls that
have
fight.
new best friends like every day in like middle school and stuff.
I don't know what's
point.
right. Like I don't know what the right version of it is, but girls will hold on to things and they're too emotional to be like, well, let me just drop this and it's totally fine. And I tell him that a lot of times. I'm like, sometimes you're so, you know, I actually like that you don't hold a grudge, because I think holding a grudge sometimes is deadly.
No, I don't.
But and he doesn't, which is good. But I sometimes will hold it a little bit longer until we like communicate about it though, or you understand how I feel.
But sometimes like I'll have those moments like while like rage, and then if she just doesn't say anything, it will be over in 3 minutes, and I'll be back to normal, and I'll probably apologize for the rage. But because she counters it and she'll make a comment about it, it doesn't stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking notes.
I have
countering back.
I have a lot to work on our relationship, right? Every day we work on things. And I think that's what relationship's about.
Yep.
The one thing I tell her all the time, and you kind of said a comment of it, is she doesn't do a good job of staying on topic of the argument. Yeah. Like, you know, I'll say the sky is blue, and she's like, I like spaghetti. And I'm like, hold on, I said the sky was blue, right? And just starts, what she starts to do is like, yes, I do. She what happens is she'll start like making, not like low blows, but like she'll make comments that have nothing to do with the argument. Right?
It's something that I was mad about that I had to get off my chest.
But that's, I think, is something that we need to continue to work on. And for me, I don't ever go, if I'm mad about something, I'm staying on that topic, right? She'll like bring up something that's so off the wall, and I'm like, what? Right? Like,
it's a girlfriend.
And I don't like how she does that. But again, like I said, I think that's a beautiful thing about a relationship is you get in arguments, you learn, And then, the makeup is always kind of fun sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
at least,
at least that's the good part of makeup sex is always good.
But every couple fight. You can't say that. There's a couple out there that doesn't fight. Obviously, it's normal. But I think communication is key. And I think
staying on topic of the argument is key.
Yeah, staying on topic.
Key.
Yeah, okay, staying on topic. But also maybe me just going for a walk and if you're just gonna come down off your little crazy, then
Dude,
maybe
I
it'll be
can
better.
relate to this so much. So Katie looks at me the other day and she's like, "You're crazy." And I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "You were just so mad." And she's like, "Now I'm mad and you're not mad." And I'm like,
"Oh,
yeah, I'm over it. I'm done." And she's like, "It doesn't work that way."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No, but what are you talking about? Like, that was just before."
Same.
That's same,
but to us, though, that's so normal. But I guess to
I wish
you
I
guys,
had a little bit of that, to be honest.
But I'm listening to both your toxic traits, and I got a little of both of them. So I'm the worst of the worst.
You're like, shit, I got to go to therapy
But if
after
Katie
this.
was here, we'd probably both little Katie's too.
If Katie
you know
was
what I'm saying?
here.
I wish she was here to, but I'll try to do a
she
good
could help
job of
me
throwing
out.
myself under the bus here. Because I am seeing that it's not normal, but she constantly says, she's like, dude, it's a little weird how quickly you can switch.
Oh, same with him.
So
Yeah.
Me, 100%.
Yeah.
When I say 3 minutes,
No, it's me.
I mean 2-3
well,
minutes.
because once you get it out, it's done. It's like, all right,
I like it.
We were driving a couple months ago, and if I miss an exit, I'm pissed.
Oh,
right?
this drives me
So I
nuts,
missed an
though.
exit, right? And I'm pissed. Blah 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 blah
maniac,
blah.
though.
By the next exit, I'm good. I'm good. But meanwhile, she's trying to
she's traumatized.
Yeah, but no, but she's
But it's
actually
'cause it's
commenting about me being mad at the exit, and I'm like,
because you-
just let me vent, and there'll be no problems.
But you're acting like a crazy person.
I know.
Yeah, but you're acting like a crazy person for missing the exit. That literally the time
to
didn't
them,
even
it's no
change.
big
That's the
deal.
example.
Yeah,
That's an
exactly.
example.
But I'm the same way. But to them, it's a major deal because it's like, dude, you can't even control your emotions.
Yes.
But to us, it's like, well, let us just get our emotions out real quick and then we're good. And you're like, yeah, not normal.
Yeah.
All right, good.
No.
So you guys are very.
It only
normal,
works
too.
in our favor.
Yeah.
Me and Katie and I favor if we did something to piss you off and we know we're wrong for sure and it's mainly one-sided and you're annoyed but then you're over it in a little bit, which I'm like, oh nice, you kind of forgot about it, which I like that. But
what's one rule or boundary that you guys don't cross on the other one? And I'll give you some context. Katie is very big on words. She's like, don't name call me.
Oh.
Me, the environment that I grew up in was very toxic with that, right? We would say things as a family and literally, the next morning it would be like, hey, you want to be friends? Yeah. And we just cursed each other out, wished each other death. And words didn't matter, whether it was, oh, you're a little bitch or you're this.
Right.
It didn't matter. And I saw that very frequently. To her, she has this boundary of do not disrespect me and name call me in any way.
I like that though.
And I try really hard 99% of the time, but there is
we all slip up.
Yeah. But to her, she's like, I'm moving out, bro.
Yeah. That's
I'm out of here. If you know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
tough.
that. No.
I don't like it.
No, I mean it's setting boundaries for yourself in a relationship.
It is.
What would be yours, you think, babe? I'm curious to see what you would say.
I'm thinking.
I would say one thing. We have a kind of I don't like bringing family into arguments of opinions of family members. We all have.
I don't like that either,
every family has. Everybody's family thinks their family's crazy, and it is a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We all have our issues. My family has their issues. Her family has their issues, and I don't like judging, right? An aspect. Sometimes we get in a fight, and I don't like when some you maybe compare families. Oh well, oh, you think your mom's better than my mom or something like that. I leave families out of it because my mom has her issues, her mom has issues, my dad, her dad, and and all families have their issues. So I don't like when people bring in fights family issues.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because I think we all, especially Mandy, and even I think the beautiful thing early in my career when I had a lot of financial success, you want to help everybody, and people pulling you and tugging you, and Mandy has been such thoughtful. She always wants to help her family. I mean, she's always thinking about her dad, her brothers, and there's a part you got to draw the line, obviously. But for me, it's it's not what we do is not what they do. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we don't agree with all of it, but you got to accept that part of it in the relationship. And I don't like where we fight and we start bringing in family members.
Well, I could relate to that.
I'm
not a fan of that either, but I'm also not a fan of arguing in front of family members.
I love what you guys are doing right now. Though.
You love it, right? Yeah. You like it? You like that? Yeah.
It's
You saw
hilarious.
that? Well, I never liked this.
You're picking it up, I see.
I don't like arguing in front of even actually, I will say not even family members, like friends even. I'm a very, like, I don't like arguing in front of anyone if it's serious, because I had a friend that used to do this or used to come to me and talk to me about all the issues of the significant other, and then I had this opinion of the significant other. But you're gonna get over it because you're in love with this person, right? So we're gonna fight, but we're gonna get over it. We're gonna, nothing's worth, ending our relationship unless it's really serious. But so, and then we're gonna be fine. But then let's say it's your mom or whoever it is, then your mom has this opinion on Sabby because I just vented to her about how much of a POS he was to me, whatever, it's just an example. And then all of a sudden your mom has this opinion and your mom isn't the one, that she shouldn't really, I don't like involving
even with
family
good
members
friends.
with that.
But also to our point, and you're probably, I can pick up the energy here.
Yeah.
Right. So you probably don't really mind that as much because like even me, I'm very transparent. So I'm like, look, if we're going through something in the moment, it's not a big deal, but we're not thinking about maybe what that other person might think down the line.
Absolutely.
Those are two very good ones.
They are, and they involve family because we're, we're both very family oriented.
Yep.
But I agree with his as well. Like I'm not disagreeing with that because I don't, you should never really compare families.
She's
anyway.
like, but I'll still do it though.
No, I don't say that.
You made a good point. I remember her dad gave me some really good advice one time. Just be very careful. We all have these moments. We all get mad. We all say things we regret. But he said, don't be very careful of saying things you can never take back.
Which could relate to what Katie's saying.
And what Katie said, like, right? So the thing is, like, we all get ugly. And I know one thing, like, no F words. Like, if we ever say shut the F up, like, that's just the ultimate disrespect. Either
So you guys never do that?
We all, no, I wouldn't
Mandy's
say
like,
never. No.
No, I wouldn't say never.
You really try not to.
We really try not to.
I try not to. And me personally.
Going below the belt.
I don't.
Stuff.
I think
It's the only way to take them out sometimes.
I think we fight different. I really do. We are different. I'm not a name caller ever. Like I really do think she needs to work on it sometimes. Like sometimes she'll say
becoming a therapy session.
No, but sometimes I think she'll say to me.
I didn't sign up for
A couple
this.
things I don't like is like she'll say stuff like, "Oh, like you think you know it all," or like you think you walk on water. And I'm like, that has zero to do with what this argument's about. Like zero. And sometimes she'll make those comments about,
I gotta go.
like you think you're this. And I'm like, hold on, what do you mean you think? This has nothing to do with it. You think nothing.
Well, I think my problem is I get very angry sometimes in the moment.
She does.
And like I said, this is probably why I should just walk away. And if I'm not being heard or he's not listening to me, I get even more mad. And then it's just boiling and boiling. And then I start coming out with weird shit. Like, you think you know everything? You think you just walk on water? Like, that's not how it works. Like,
well, think about how easy it is for Katie's layup. So when she really wants to get to me, she's like, oh, leader, huh? Oh, personal development, huh?
Oh, I like that though. She gets you good.
It drives me nuts. But she's right.
But she's right.
She's right in that moment because at that moment I may not be acting like a leader, but I'm like, yo, that's not fair, dude. Like, I don't come to you when you mess up, and then I'm like, executive assistant, huh?
I love that she does
like if you're not
that,
organized for a moment, I'm not like
absolutely.
executive.
But
I love that.
That's how she gets me sometimes,
That's
and I'm like,
funny.
ooh. But then also I do have to, and it is a good reminder. Although I hate it, it's a good reminder to me because it's like, yo, dude, like, do you want to be that guy or not? And then she hits me with the, oh, would you say that to your daughter or something? Which is something I always think about.
Yep.
But I'm like, well, actually, I would I would expect someone to reply back to her because of what you said to me type thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's something too. The reaction is important, but also we got to understand in relationships, two wrongs don't make it right.
No.
And one person does have to be the bigger person, and that's hard for me to do at times.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard for all of us to do at times.
And I think, I think the message here, listen to this podcast, and I'm enjoying it already, but I think what it really comes down to is people lose sight of this. Having a great relationship, like everything else in the world, is a constant work every single day, right? Like we love the gym, right? We look good, right? If we stop working out for a month, we're not gonna look as good anymore. It's an everyday thing.
It is.
And I think people lose sight of that because you love somebody doesn't mean it's over of working on it. And I think if you forget to work on your relationship, it will go down a bad path.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have these talks all the time and you don't work on it every day, and you're gonna get a bad result. And I think that's what I love about this even interacting right now. Right? I think it's something that us men have to take control of. That is that I have to get better every day. Like every day I pray. When I do my morning prayer and I wake up, there's a part in my morning prayer that I ask God for strength. God, make me a better husband. Let me work on what I need to work on. Let me help myself be a better husband so Mandy will be happy. Like, that's like literally a 30-second part in my prayer is being a better husband, right?
And it's good to communicate, like you just said, with all of us too, because then, like, you know, you could relate to Sabby obviously more than to me in a sense of like how you act, and it's like, oh, you see, you know, that how you act a certain way, and then I'm like, I look at it like, oh, I'm like, oh, you know, because the biggest thing sometimes is if he gets like, you know, I know he doesn't mean things maliciously sometimes because that's such a big heart, but sometimes I take it because I'm a little bit sensitive. I'm a Cancer, mind you, so I'm a little emotional. I'm a little sensitive.
It's okay, boo.
And I get very protective of my family. Like I don't like when
Oh,
people.
yeah.
Oh, that's another one. I thought you were the first time you said about the family thing. Comparing family, I thought you were going there because I'm very sensitive of people. Like I could say my mom is like
the worst person in the world, but if somebody
like,
even alludes to any negative thing that might not even be that
her
big of a
mom's
thing.
the best, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
She's hilarious.
But and she says it all the time. She's a little silly. She's like a little out there. We call her shot sometimes.
We say she's shot.
If I say it sometimes wrong, she'll be like, "You call my mom shot?"
Well, my mom found.
I'm like,
he
"Wait, you
said
said
it
that yesterday."
He said it on the podcast on ours, and my mom was like, and she was joking. She doesn't care, but she was like, "Sabby, you called me shot on the
was like,
podcast,"
she was
and I'm
so
like,
upset.
"We actually watched it back, and I feel bad because I was actually sticking up for him." I go, "Mom, I called you shot though." And he then said, she probably saw a clip, but like, and then you missed it, and then he repeated your so like, really, I call, but that's besides the point, because I had a sister-in-law way back in the day, and it used to bother the shit out of me. She used to think that we all mess around and make fun of my mom as a joke, whatever, and with love. And then like she'd chime in and like say things, and I'm like, you can't do that. Yeah, I can do it, but you can't.
I agree with that, and I really do. I really do agree with that aspect. But like my personality is like. I'm not a bullshitter. Like I kind of tell what it is, and I understand, and even about my own family, right? Like my mom, my dad, I could break down my family members of like who they are as a person, what I think they need to work on, and it's not a negative thing, right? I'm like, it's a facts, right? And it's like I feel like if I say that about her, she gets really defensive, but it's not a negative thing.
But do you think it's
just
my
a reality
place to
thing.
say that about your family? Because I don't think it's my place either.
No, I don't say it. I'm not trying to. I'm not saying I do.
But he probably wouldn't care.
But I wouldn't care. But
he wouldn't. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like if you said to
my
about my mom, like, oh, she's like the cheapest person in the world, I'm not gonna laugh at you because she is the cheapest person in the world, right? But at the end of the day, I think
it depends on the context, right?
I agree.
Like I think certain things it's okay, but then other things it's like, maybe you shouldn't say that. I'm just maybe a little sensitive about it.
I agree 100%.
I've always
but this
been
also
like that.
plays to the thing that you were talking about on the other podcast about like, you're such an empath and you're worried about like, what you're worried about protecting your family and that type of stuff.
It does.
Whereas he's coming from more of a factual place.
Yeah.
So if there is something that, could be said, it's not the biggest deal to us.
I like to help. Sometimes I feel like if I say a fact that, where I'm trying to help you, maybe it's not the right way to come about sometimes. I know I got things I want people to help me with, but it's just, help, I guess.
Well, I think our personalities are a little different in the aspect of like when it comes to like someone's got to be the bad guy, like Sabby, that's all you, babe. Like he's great with that, and he's really good at it. And like I'm a little bit, I'm like an empath, so I always feel people's feelings. So right away I'm thinking like I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I have to be honest with them. So I do it a little bit differently, and I'm a little bit softer the way I do it. Where Sabby's more like, you suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever it is. Like, no, you made this choice and you got to go figure it out. Like, where I'm like, well, let's see what we, it's just different personalities.
I'm big on choices, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
People make a choice is what it is.
Oh, yeah, you got to go listen to that.
Yeah, you'll have to listen. We won't say it now because
it's an interesting take on the addiction piece.
Yeah, you'll have to listen to what Dave said because he actually said a really good
play
piece.
It now.
Yeah, yeah. He's like,
for the past 5 years, I've trusted Kai Vision Studio with my podcast. And every time, Claudio delivers an exceptional experience. The setup here is flawless. Professional lighting, crystal clear audio, and a custom set that makes every episode look elite. As someone who speaks on leadership, I know how important it is to show up with clarity and confidence. This studio allows me to do just that. The quality here isn't just about the equipment, it's about the environment. Claudio has created a space where I can focus on my message, knowing the production will be sharp, engaging, and professional. In a world flooded with content, standing out matters. And having a studio like this gives me the edge to produce videos and podcasts that truly connect with my audience. If you're serious about creating high-quality content, I can't recommend Kai Visions enough. Claudio makes you feel at home, yet delivers at the highest level. 5 years in, I'm not going anywhere else. So you mentioned praying, right? And I know what a man of faith you are. It's something that I love most about you. Do you guys pray together? And
For every meal.
yeah.
We do. We pray for every meal. We actually have our church on Sundays. We pray, but as individuals, like, we are both pray before we go to bed. I do my prayer in the morning, my morning routine. I don't know if she does, but the times we pray together is before all our meals.
Beautiful.
And I will say I'm Catholic, and I grew up Catholic, and we went to church when we were younger, and then obviously we kind of stopped, which we shouldn't have, but since me and Sabby have been serious, he's actually, I love that he's gotten me more involved in praying and being more connected with faith and and God and just because I always have been, but now I like it's every time before I go to bed now, like I'm and I watch church with him, we go to church, so I'm grateful for that because I think it's really helped.
I will say this, and I never said anything personally to her, but I've been doing it for, I think, since I can remember. I always, right before I go to bed, I kneel on my bed and I say my prayers. And
from childhood? Like, where did that come?
Wow. I think childhood, yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, remember,
just been that long.
It's been that long. That I've always, before I go to bed, lights are out, I put the sheet up with my phone down, and I pray on my knees. And the first time I saw her do it, didn't say anything to her. She didn't say anything to me, and I was like, And I think she saw me for years do it.
Yeah,
and she never said anything to me, right? She never bothered me about it. And then the first time I saw her do it, I said, And now she does it every night before she goes to bed too. And I think that was subconsciously, she took it from me, but she never told me. And
then obviously, like, everything we've been through the last few years between my brother and all this, it's like now I feel like, and all the blessings that have come, and I always look up, and I even finding this house that we just bought in New York, it's like I feel like there's so many moments where I'm like that was my brother, like that's my brother looking down, and like it just, there's so many things that has happened to us, and like even with just faith, and like now I'm like 100%, like, not that I never believed, obviously I always believed in God. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm just like, no, I 100% will forever do that, because I feel like the blessings that I have gotten the last few years too is just, you can't even explain.
I can say this was one of the biggest discrepancies in my previous relationship, was the relationship with God. Not that she didn't believe by any means, but she would always say, like, I don't need that as much as you do. And she was very right. She was very right, because like the way I was doing things in my life, like, just didn't align with who I wanted to be as a man, and I felt that pull. But I do firmly believe that it's very hard to be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't have the same faith values as you do. And I know some relationships where one is an atheist and then one is really into God. And I just think from experience, I think it's really, really tough. And you guys now are on that similar path. I think one can be a little bit further ahead in the journey. Yeah. Like, Katie's read the entire Bible multiple times, whereas I'm just like getting through it now.
Yeah.
But like, I have a very strong relationship with God, and I'm seeing now having a woman that is, a woman of God. And it doesn't have to be my God. It could be whatever higher power that you guys, focus on. I just think that relationship is so much more stable.
Oh,
Would you
I
agree with that?
Yeah.
100%.
We were just talking about this the other day, but even just, we were talking about like your similarities, but even like then we brought up faith, or like whoever it is as your higher, like I feel like that has a big thing. And when you start to have children, well, I think it's really when it comes into play too.
And I 100% agree with you. I think it's actually more like, it's almost more the silent part of your relationship that you don't even talk about.
Yeah.
But it kind of slowly brings you closer. I think it's like no one's going to be like right away and say, oh, that's the problem, right? But it could be a problem. And I think especially when you have kids, it can be a problem. And I think once you really flip your mindset to how wonderful God is and how many gifts he's given you and how grateful you should be for every day you wake up, then that energy rubs off on your significant other, and they'll feel the same thing of where you're at mentally. Like even this past week or whatever it was, I mean, Hulk Hogan, the guy from the Ozzy Osbourne died, and then the Malcolm guy died from the Cosby Show, drowning with his daughter.
Like how precious life is.
In like a week span, right? Those three. I know it's celebrities, people know their name, but I mean, I think it's 150,000 people die
170,000
day in the world.
Yep.
And we just don't know what time is. And when we really flip our mindset to like, this is just even be thankful for sitting right here, right now, then your whole mindset will change, your energy will change, and your significant other will take that and they'll enjoy that prayer of gratitude and that thankfulness that God has given you this gift, man. So.
And he does such a great job, like him explaining that. I think the last few years has helped me too, because I've watched Sabby go through a lot whether it was WWE, whether it was, finally being able to like watch football again, like all these things. And it's like, he has like, even though he had struggles just like we all do, the way obviously it's always about how you react to them, right? But it's like the way he reacts to them and his energy he puts out of like staying positive when like I knew he wasn't doing great at one point or whatever it was, like that shows a big thing on your significant other too. Because then it's like, how could I sit here and be negative when like someone's going, or vice versa, whatever it is. Like, how could I sit here and be negative when what is there to be negative about? Life is so precious. Or like, you know, losing a sibling. Like, how could you go complain about something when someone went through such a terrible tragedy of like, you know what I mean? Like it's, I don't know. It's just putting stuff in perspective. And I think it does have a big aspect of like when you're with someone, you're spending your whole life with them.
Absolutely. We now, you know, even with my daughter, we do 2 things that we're grateful for.
I love
every
that.
day. Well, we do a prayer,
Yeah.
right? Dear God, thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. Please keep us safe.
She's
Please
so
keep us
cute
healthy.
when she says that. Oh my God.
But now at dinner, what we do, the 3 of us, is we say 2 things that we're grateful for and then 1 thing that we learned today. And literally the other day we didn't do it. And Callie was like, we didn't do the thing today.
Stop.
Yeah, we didn't do the thing.
I love that.
And it's just amazing to me, though, at how even at such a young age, you know, the structure of that and how faith is just such a huge part. And I listen to worship all day long, like to the point that Kitty even thinks I'm a little like, you know, a little crazy. She's like, look, I get it, but like I don't need to listen to that much worship. In the gym, I'm listening to either worship music or a podcast, and people think that I'm listening to like, you know, some
Hip-hop.
heavy bangers. Yeah, which I do at times, but it just doesn't even feel right to me anymore. And I love Jadakiss, and you know, like I love all the goats, but like it's just I don't know. I feel such a pull to lean more into faith these days.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, I love that you're doing that with your daughter too, because they're so smart too as kids. Like, and they will remember. Like, wait, we didn't do that thing. It's like, wait, you're almost taken back. Like, because they're creatures of habit.
No, you were doing an incredible job with your daughter, man. I love to see the habits
She's
you're
so
instilling
cute,
in her.
too.
Oh, thank you. Man.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
She's adorable.
She looks just like me. Thanks.
She really, she does. No, I don't know what her mom looks like.
Yeah,
but
she looks like both of us.
Does she?
but,
Because I think she looks identical to you.
Let's go. One for
like
Dave.
little mini you.
I love it.
One for Dave. One thing I think in relationships where they don't or we don't focus enough on is, and I'm relating this back to business. So when I hire somebody, right, and I hire a lot of people in government, I don't really ask them their weakness. And I know a lot of job interviews, they ask like, oh, well, what's your weakness, right? I want to know your strength. And also in relationships, I think we don't point out the strengths of one another. We might do it publicly and it's something I love about you that I was saying on the last podcast.
You did say that.
The way that you talk about your queen is literally the thing that I love about you most, because when I met you, your body already spoke for you. I knew that you were disciplined. And he was like, yo, you got to meet my fiance.
Yeah.
You got to meet her. And not only does she have this level of success, but she's just so humble, dude. She takes out the trash at her dad's deli. Like, this was what he was saying.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's such a miss in relationships, whether it's short-term relationships that you've only been together a couple months or you've been together for years and years and years. Not enough people are talking to one another about the strengths about the other person. And one thing that I try to prioritize now in my relationship is I let Katie know all of the things that I think she does extremely well in life. And then she wants to do more of that. And then when she tells me this, I'm like, oh shit, like I want to be, you know, I want to do more.
It motivates you to do more.
Right. So do you guys, what is the thing that you love most about your queen, and then vice versa?
I love that. I love how you even explain that, because I think you're absolutely right. You focus on what the strengths are.
Yeah.
My strengths for her, just an extremely powerful, strong, motivated, huge heart, selfless woman. And I think for me, her biggest strength is that she loves, the way she loves is so strong that I will never worry about her with another person. And I think having a woman who is so humble to me and has humility, and that could be so down to earth at the same time be so successful, to me, that's just the ultimate. And I think, you know, I even told her the first time I ever met her, I actually said this to my friend. We had a conversation. And I walked away and I was like, that girl's like, you know how you see a pretty girl and most of the time they can't have a good conversation? I was like, well, that girl's just I had an amazing conversation with a beautiful woman. And it was like a good conversation. And that drew me to her right away, was her personality and her wholesomeness and where she came from her roots made me even 10 times more attracted to her. Physically is one thing, right? But that part of, honestly, from day one, was her humility, because she didn't view herself as like the baddest girl in the room. She didn't treat herself like the baddest girl in the room. She was just so down to earth, and I think to me is her biggest strength that I fell in love with.
Thanks, babe.
Oh,
That was
shit.
so sweet.
I didn't know she was sitting here.
Can we get that on? No, obviously. No, that was really nice. But I would say you just got me. For Sabby, I mean, obviously there's a long list, but I think the biggest ones that stand out to me would be, which I brought up before a little bit, is, one, his affection. He shows an immense amount of affection in front of anyone, like he doesn't care. He's very like, the way about him, like he doesn't get embarrassed. Like he doesn't, some people are like, oh, they don't want to. And I was a little bit guarded. I think I'm the most affectionate with you than I ever was in any relationship, because I've been told that I'm sometimes not really like, PDA, and I don't show enough affection. But I also, you got to remember, I didn't really see a lot of affection with my parents growing up, and my brothers and I talk about this. Like, my parents were great and in love, obviously, for many years, but it's just something I didn't see that much, and my brothers were affected by that a little bit too as men. They've got told that from their, women that like they don't show a lot, and if you don't see a lot, you don't really. That's why I think it's very important to show that in front of your children. But I love that about Sabby. Like I said before, I love his vulnerability. That's like really attractive to me, because especially coming from such an alpha, strong man, that when he's vulnerable and can talk about his emotions and his feelings, and when I'm upset. Like, he's very understanding and very supportive, and he never like just is like, oh, you'll get over it. Like, some guys are just like, you'll be fine. Walk it off, whatever. Like, he's very understanding like that. And another one I would say, his like resilience. Like, he's a very resilient man. Like, sometimes almost to a fault, which is okay though. Like, to the point of like, if he wants to get something done, or like something is in his in a goal of his, like, this new thing that he's starting, like, no matter what it is, like, he's going to get it done. And I love that about him too, because it could be something that he could be so like, not used to doing, or whatever it may be. And he's very resilient. And I think that's a great quality as well.
Thanks, babe.
I can go on and on. I don't want to take up too much time.
No, but honestly, I think it's just important to start doing that in relationships in general.
I think that's very important too. I love that.
Like when you're having dinner, just little conversations like that. And yes, of course, we always want to point out the flaws, but it's like, even in business, right? I have this conversation with my directors. I have a direct team of 25, and I constantly tell them, look, if you want to reprimand somebody, that's fine, but you better have 25 more positive interactions with that person before you reprimand them, so they can actually respect the level of reprimand that's coming. And that's just something in leadership that I've been really focusing on, because when people just expect you to like tell them bad about themselves, they're like, oh, what's next?
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
Next?
No,
What's
I know.
Next?
It's always and then they relate. Every time you talk to me, it's negative.
Yep.
Every time you talk to me, I'm getting in trouble.
Exactly.
And then they kind of play the petty party too.
And I'm tying so much leadership to relationships now more than ever, just because it's like a focus of mine, and I'm really trying to be a thought leader in the space. And I'm seeing so many similarities that, like, if we can just make this more relatable for guys, because in business we have all these tools, why can't we just do the same thing in our relationships? I think it's so important.
I love that. It's very important.
I absolutely love that. And I think that's very important to continue to, like, every morning I get up, I wake up first, I always reach over and give her a kiss. Yeah. It's just a sign that...
Even when you're mad?
Yeah. You know what?
I'm curious.
Actually, yes.
Yeah?
Sometimes we'll go to bed.
He does, even when he's mad.
Yeah, I'll do it. It's more like a head butt.
It's definitely like real quick one and like a run. I'm like, okay.
I think it's, again, that to me, that is just a little symbol of I'm waking up. I love you so much, and I'm grateful for you. Mm-hmm. That's how I view that. I'm just grateful that you're sleeping next to me, that you're my wife. And I think just things like that on a daily, right? Don't lose sight of that little stuff.
Yeah.
And, we make a joke. Sometimes we'll come in, or she'll come in, or I'll be gone, and the dogs get really excited, right? Yeah. But sometimes we like, she'll talk to the dogs before she gives me a kiss, or vice versa. And I don't like that, right? Because I say, when we have kids need to see that you come in and kiss your significant other first. Because my mom's always raised me, man, you're the trunk of the tree, and the kids are the branches. Yeah. And if that trunk ain't strong, that tree's going to fall. So for me, and I want to instill when we have kids, like when we first come in the house, you give me a kiss first, I give you a kiss first, and then we see our kids. Then we talk to our kids. And we don't do a good job with the dogs right now. But we will. I think little things like that is how you keep your relationship strong.
Absolutely.
And I say this for going on, I want to talk about my program coming up, but like, even the lifestyle thing, I made a video. People don't realize you want to get in great shape physically and mentally. It's a lot of little things throughout the day that give you a big result. And people don't realize that. It's a lot of little things. It's not one big thing. Yeah, it's all really.
It's all
when you
little
want to break it down,
It's
it's all
all-
little
yeah.
things. But it's like numerous little things throughout the day that will give you a big result.
And people are quick to like blame that like life just gets too busy. And like, yes,
That's
of
bullshit.
course it gets busy. I mean, you know, we don't have kids yet, so like we're not as, you know, busy when it comes to that lifestyle, but we're busy doing everything else. But it's like, I think people are so quick to blame like, oh, well, yeah, wait till you have kids. And I hate that saying because it bothers the shit out of me.
Me
'Cause
too.
It's like, first of all, they said that some
About how I
of your
look.
boys
They're
said
like,
that.
wait till when you have kids, you won't look like this anymore. I
And
said,
some of his
"What?"
boys would say that before we even got married, like, because, you know, we obviously have a very healthy, great sexual relationship. And, you know, some guys will,
Which I think is extremely important.
which is important, but
Absolutely.
also some guys, you know, will vent to him or vice versa. I can, you know, some girls will vent to me, my friends, whatever. And it's like, oh, it changes when you get married, or changes when you have kids. Like, no,
Bullshit.
why? Why should that change? That's the problem. It changed, and that's why you're sitting here miserable.
To be honest with you, if now that we have this platform, we're talking about this. I
Yeah.
think that's one topic we should bring up right now, and
Let's get
I'm
it.
very adamant about. Is that I have, and maybe she does, but I have a lot of friends. Not a lot. I would say a couple that have been married now for probably 8 to 10 years.
No names.
No names. I do have a good amount that I'm shocked about. Is that they complain they don't have sex anymore, and it blows my mind. And then they turn and say, "Oh, just wait."
Yeah, they try to tell you.
But it's not even about just wait. The stories they tell me is like their wife is just straight up shut off. Like, I'm going to neglect you. I'm going to neglect your needs for weeks and months at a time.
But why?
Blows
Right.
my mind.
But why?
Blows my mind. Right? And listen, I hate to speak on something
it takes two to
I haven't
tango.
gone through yet.
Yeah.
And I have not gone through with kids. I understand that. But I don't care how hard it gets. If our demands aren't met, how are we going to be good parents? How are we going to be good providers? And I think a lot of marriages lose sight of that. And again, and I'm not trying to call out women, but from my perspective of my friends complaining, it's the women closing their legs. And to me, that's a no-no. And then what do they expect at that point? Like, what do
I'll
they
jump
expect?
in on that because I've been in both sides of this, right?
Yeah.
And I know that a woman doesn't close her legs for no reason.
Yeah.
So there's things
That's what
in
I
the
was gonna say.
relationship that the
100%.
man is doing
Yep.
to eventually make the woman
Thank
feel
you.
very dried up, for a lack of better,
Yes.
I
better
agree.
words.
Because
And
there's no
what
reason
men
why.
don't do is take the accountability
Yep.
for putting their wife, their partner in that position. Because for me, what happened is I made so many bad life choices along the way that was a byproduct of the result. Even if it was a couple of years down the line, I still didn't take the initiative to make sure that I was doing the things that my significant other at the time needed me to do. And a lot of men lose sight of that, and we put blame on the female. And I'm not saying that it's not both ways, but 9 times out of 10, when a woman is not giving their man what they need, it's because the man is not leading the relationship the proper way.
100%.
Thank
A
you.
woman
Yep.
is a reflection of the man that she is with. Whether leader as a female, leader as a male, there's a reason why the male lion is the king of the jungle.
Yep.
Right? And it's very important to understand because
It
you
is.
guys, and I'll tell you this, you will never run into that situation because you guys are at a completely different mindset in the relationship.
Yeah.
But the individuals that you're talking about, for whatever reason, they probably were really hot in the first couple of years
Yeah.
and then stopped doing the things for then eventually to get those results.
Well,
Yes,
no,
and that's what I try to, and I do try to explain him coming from the other side. And I'm, you know, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors because you really can't sit here and say, oh, well, he does this and she does, you know, talking about the couple. But at the end of the day, like there has to be something going on that there's this reason, especially knowing that they were very intimate at one point. It wasn't like they were never attracted to each other. And, you know, you got to look at certain situations and you don't know what's bothering that person to not want to do that anymore.
No, I 100% agree with you. But what I'm saying is don't let it get to that aspect of it because now you're looking to destroy your whole relationship,
It's
yeah.
right?
almost, unless you get professional help, it might be too late.
Yeah,
And no,
for sure.
I agree with you. Like, and I'm not naming no names either, but like it could be physical.
Absolutely.
You can get so out
Yeah.
of shape, or they're not attracted to you anymore. But that is your. I've always said this. Your obligation, if you take that oath and you put a ring on your finger, your obligation is to be the best you could be for your significant other, physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, whatever it is. Always that, and I think men take that too lightly. And that's why, like, listen,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying I was a perfect angel growing up, but I always said, if I'm going to get married, I will never cheat. Ever. Right? Because that's a vow I'm making for God, that God's given me the ability to do. Right? But people think, like, they don't take accountability and they don't take that vow serious because like, it is what it is. But just don't go down that road.
Well, that
just
was
don't
me.
get married.
That was me.
Yeah.
I got married in my 20s.
Yeah, but you were young. And
But we make excuses. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's excuse, but you weren't ready. You
Oh,
weren't
of
ready
course
as a man,
not.
obviously.
Of course
right?
not.
But what I'm saying is like during this marriage, like, I'm sorry, like, men or women can't go 6 weeks, 8 weeks without no sexual contact. Even us.
It's even just like intimacy
Like,
in general. You don't even have to say like sex. It's just like being intimate with your partner.
close, yeah.
Like, you know, yeah.
And I'm happy to
Physical.
say, I'm proud to say this, and I don't care if it's too much for the screen. Like, I think our sexual relationship gets better and better every week. Right now, still. Like, I get
Yeah.
like, and it's almost like you talk to some people and say, like, oh, yeah, you get married, you don't even want to have sex with your wife anymore. What'd you say?
Right.
Like, I actually sometimes
Like we
can't wait.
we actually fight more though when we don't.
Oh,
like
this-
I know
this is
have
a
you noticed
fact.
that? And it's not just like I don't know for a woman. You guys know men are different, but like I know like he like bothers me sometimes when like we haven't in a little while, and I'm like, oh, maybe that's it.
I pay attention to it. Like, we're very sexually active. I pay attention to, like, if a couple of days goes by and we start bickering,
It's weird.
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, we haven't touched each other. And it really, for me, because I am already like that, I could feel that, I could almost feel my levels of just calmness sometimes and not.
Yeah.
And I think even like if she'll go away for a couple of days and it's like, I haven't seen her or touched her in like 3 days, it's like, I go crazy. Like, it's just like, and I think you got to get to that point with your significant other.
Yeah. It's true. I mean,
I think I can't
It's
agree
true.
more. And but I think it's also the same too with even the body. Like people will, it's the same type of thing. The people who are in shape in their 50s and their 60s will never tell you right now. They will never say to you, "Oh, wait until you're 50. You're gonna look like dog shit."
you're right.
It's the person
It's the
who's
one-
out of shape in
And
their
dog.
50s and
And-
60s who says, "Oh yeah, I look like you." One, no,
Yeah,
you never
yeah.
look
No,
like
you
me.
didn't.
Stop playing
I hate when
yourself.
they say
You
that.
wish that you were. You wish. I'm serious. I've never
It's the
witnessed
truth.
it. But there's always these people. When I was 20, it was like, "Oh, wait till you're 25. Oh, wait till you're 30.
Yeah.
Wait till you have a child." Dude, not only did I have a child, but during the most critical time of her life, I had to take care of her by myself for 3 and 4 days a week, 50%
Right.
of the time.
awesome.
I had to learn how to wipe my daughter's private part, how to brush her hair properly.
Yeah.
When I was in a 2-person household, I always relied on the significant other to do those little things.
Yeah.
So not only did my relationship with my daughter get stronger as I age, my body is getting better, and I'm just going to continue to elevate. So anybody who's telling you that relationship or
hate
body
that.
wise, it's just nonsense.
it bothers me
Well,
so much.
they're on the same
sometimes,
level,
'cause-
man.
That was pretty
Yeah.
loud, bro.
Sorry.
That was
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
You talking about her
If
blowing
we had
her nose.
headphones on, we'd be like, he probably.
And you're absolutely right. And I think it comes down to, and this is no disrespect, man, and I've learned this, like, people's perspective on life and habits and work ethic is all different. And those people just have limitations, in my opinion. And limitations is what it is. Limitations are where you can go with your life. And, you know, I don't have those because I'm not trying to change something, go into something. I always wanted to accomplish something that somebody said, wow, that's I've never seen that before. And that's always drove me to be successful.
Or like when they doubted you,
when
right?
they doubted
like when
me,
you
right?
got doubted, it
And
was
I
always
think-
more motivating.
But and I still take it to every day now. And like if somebody says to me, "Oh, wait till you have a kid, you're not gonna look like that." I
it's
might
like,
look
yeah.
better when I have a kid
Yeah.
because I have a kid now, and now I got to be.
almost like
even
you wanna be even more,
So
but yeah.
that's what people's mindset. I laugh at people's different mindsets of it. So I don't, it is what it is on that aspect. But don't
You'll have to
ever
come back in 10 years and see his dad bod.
No, and
Kidding.
he'll be fine.
I know he will.
But the only thing that will change, and I'll tell you factually, is the sleep schedule.
Oh, things will change though,
That's
and that's
the
what I was just
only
gonna
thing.
bring up. Yeah, and I would just want to say I don't want it to sound like we're not gonna. Trust me, our life will change.
Oh, it changes.
And the way we live and the way our sleep schedule, I mean, we get a solid 9
big
hours
shock.
sometimes.
Big shock.
And the way it will be a big change, and that's something. I mean, I helped like raise my nephew. Like I
Yep.
know a lot about the children, and it's a big change. But it's just the fact when people are a little like negative in the aspect of like, oh yeah, wait till you have kids though, and I'm like, I know.
You guys are gonna be fine. From a legacy standpoint, right? So, what does legacy mean to you guys as a couple? And not how you want to be remembered by other people, but how do you want to be remembered by Mandy? And Mandy, how do you want to be remembered by Sabby?
It's a good question.
It is a good question. I
Because you always say
myself. It's a good question.
No, it is good. Because you always think about it from like other people.
Right.
How do I want to be remembered by Sabby? I would want to be remembered. Well, I mean, it kind of sounds cliche, but like that I was like the best wife I could be for him, but I was also like maybe the woman that when he was little looked up to of like, oh, that's going to be my wife one day, not physical wise, meaning like, you know, like I don't want to say a perfect woman because that doesn't exist, but meaning like I have all the traits that, you know, that he loves about me and that I don't know, it's hard actually. I'm a little bit like tongue tied. Would you do something better?
No, it's good.
You were about to say,
I think
it's kind of hard.
I think if I had something I want my wife to remember me by is that, kind of like you said earlier, like my resilience and being the best version of myself all the time. I never want my wife to say, my husband used to be this, or used to be in good shape, or used to look good, or used to have a good body, or used to be. For me, I just want her to know that I woke up every day and I tried to be a better version of myself for her. And I think that's my mindset. I want to be remembered as somebody who just woke up every day and had structure, had routine, and outworked myself yesterday. That's it. Not anybody else. I don't care about it. It's me versus me, man. I want that. And now at this point, now that I'm married, I just want to make sure that she still views me that made her fall in love with me, right? My traits, physical and mental. Like you have to continue to work at that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm never gonna let that go. And for me, that's how I want to be remembered by her.
I love that.
I like it. Ditto.
Did you process it? Oh, ditto.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Copy
No,
me.
that was
Yeah,
good.
I think for me, as I'm thinking about it too, because it's just a good question.
It is.
That's a great question.
I
actually.
would say, I would want Katie to remember me now as just having more access to me than everybody else, because especially somebody who's in the public eye, right? Like, and
like
you
that.
guys are super in the public. Like, there needs to be a level of intimacy in the relationship that nobody really knows. And not just on like big things, but like I want her to feel as though like when she listens to podcasts, I'm not sharing like literally everything. There has to be details of the relationship that really are only for the relationship. And I think I
like
struggled
that.
with that in the past because almost everything is just like, because
Yeah.
you're doing a podcast, you're trying to help men and leadership and doing all these things. I think there has to be some level of confidence to her knowing that she holds the key to something that nobody else can really unlock.
I love that.
That's
cool.
great.
It's hard
great.
though. It's hard.
we could
And not to
relate to-
hold things back, but that just means going even deeper with my wife. So if I want to be this transparent, deep
great.
guy, that means that I have to now continue to challenge
yeah.
myself to go even deeper with the woman.
And
I
that's
love.
cool because relating to us and like you said, and being in the public eye and, people have access to us and social media and we, try to obviously motivate others and everything that we do, especially with my following, it's like, that's very important that like you have that special access to me that all 10 million of my fans or family or whatever it may be, it's like they don't have that.
Well, that being
Special
said,
access.
too, remember one thing: put it in perspective, because all that don't matter.
Exactly.
Fame, money, in the spotlight, what we accomplished, that doesn't matter at the end of the day when we go to bed together every single night. All right, this is my queen and I'm her king, and for that, all the other stuff is just smoke and mirrors to me.
true,
The only
yeah.
thing that really matters is my relationship with God and my relationship with my wife. And I've had the privilege, and she's had the privilege, and you've had the privilege to be successful on some levels that people look up to, people see. But at the end of the day, man, we're all the same, right? So I want her to know that I am laying in bed with her every single night, and I'm grateful for her, regardless of how big she blows up, how big I blow up, what we've done. And I think, like you said, there is a part of that where you have the only part that matters that's only exclusively yours. All the other stuff is just, it's good stuff. God bless us with a lot of good stuff. Of
course.
But that doesn't matter at the end of the day when those lights go out, right?
Yep.
So that's just
Like what
my-
Vince McMahon used to say, we all put our pants on the same way.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's so
so true.
silly, but it's so true. What makes me better than you? We all put our one left leg, right leg.
Absolutely. So
I love
I like
that about
that.
you guys. All right, I want to have some fun lightning round here.
Oh, I love these
So I
ones.
was going to
There
do
you
the
go.
point thing, but that doesn't really work for a podcast. So your answer has to be either me or you. And I want you both to answer it at the same time.
Me
so,
or you?
Yeah, so
Meaning-
if you
It's either
think, so if I say,
me or
who's
you.
the funniest?
Oh, okay. I like
Gotcha.
that.
Right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know
Oh,
what I'm
this is gonna be
saying?
good
Let's
for
see if
us.
we're the same. Here we go.
Because typically I would want to see the point, but like to give the
I'm
listener
excited about this
experience,
one.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go.
we got to hear. All right. Who's the better cook?
Me.
Yeah, you.
Who's more disciplined in the gym?
Me.
All right, calm down. I'm pretty disciplined in the gym, but yeah, okay, I'll go with Sabby.
Who's more patient?
Oh,
You.
me. Times 10.
I love the laugh. Who said I love you first?
Ooh, that's
Me.
a good one. You did, though, yeah.
Me.
I think you did.
Yeah, when I went to surgery.
Oh, yeah, wait, no, it doesn't count. He was under anesthesia,
No,
guys.
I was
That's
He
waking
what
up.
literally was like this.
That was the truth.
I love you, yeah.
I said me.
Who's grumpier in the morning?
You.
Yeah, me. I'll have to admit.
Who's the bigger baby when sick?
Actually, we're both not babies,
We're
and I'm so
both
glad
not.
he's
You're
not.
both good?
'cause
We're both
I
pretty
find that
tough,
so
okay.
unattractive in a man.
What?
So I'm so glad
I would
he's
say
not.
neither.
He's the most dramatic man I know.
Can we say neither on that one?
Yeah, I think we're gonna go neither. We're
Neither.
both very tough when we're sick.
Yeah,
It's
when
so
you're
funny.
sick,
We're like
he
we like
hates
fight the
being sick.
toughness.
He
good
hates
question
Really?
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is a good one.
Who's the social butterfly?
You.
Me?
Yes. Sabby's way
Dude,
more social than
me?
me. And he talks to his friends daily. I'm like, we don't talk for weeks and we're still close.
Who needs more attention?
You.
Me.
You.
Agreed.
Who usually apologizes first?
Me.
Yes, he does.
Yep, say.
Me too. I can absolutely
even
relate
close.
to that.
That's-
It's actually
Yeah.
not even close.
Yeah, not even close. Who's neater?
Neater? Oh, we're both pretty neat.
But who's neater?
I would say we're both the same. No, we're both the same.
The same?
Yeah, we are very neat, both
We're
of
both
us.
very neat.
That's hard to say.
Who's needier?
Ooh.
You.
Yeah, but I'm not that needy. But
No,
okay,
you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could be needier. Yeah,
This one's good.
attention.
Who's more dramatic?
Oh,
You.
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 No,
That's our first one of you.
Sab, you are more dramatic, and you exaggerate
in
things
what way? In
sometimes.
In what way?
When he explains a story, because he's very animated, he'll like explain it like, "Oh, it was and it's dramatic."
Wait. Let me pull up a text. Tell me if this is dramatic. Hold on.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
This is from Sabby, actually.
This from me?
Yeah. Yesterday.
Definitely Sabby, more dramatic.
Bro, I haven't touched a weight in 8 days. I feel like I've deflated and lost all my muscle.
Stop. Oh,
I guess that is me.
And then-
no, literally, but me, I'm the exact same way. You
I
should
know
have heard
that's
us when
why.
we
That's why he texted you that because he
Literally.
knows you're
Yeah,
the
you were
exact
talking.
same
literally,
way.
we were talking about a
You guys
water
are sick.
fast.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I
And
won't even do it.
Oh, you won't even do it.
He was
Yeah.
baffled. He's like, how much weight did you lose? I'm like 13 pounds. He's like, oh no, I can't. And me though, that was me. But I just did it.
If
And
I
you
heard
have to
him
do
one
it
more
on a
time after
spiritual-
vacation,
a
I know.
spiritual piece. Oh yeah, you said you were.
Well,
gonna
I
do
was
it.
going to do
You're
it.
gonna do it
but
to some
I
level.
lost weight off vacation, so I'm
Yeah,
like,
so you're like,
no, I'm
No,
going to wait like a week. I'll probably do it like a week. I'll
If
do
I
like a
heard him one more
36
time,
hour.
I
Yeah.
lost some weight. You're gonna gain it back in 2 days.
I lost like
I lost
4
weight
pounds
too.
on vacation, but whatever.
Don't
Go
see
ahead.
me complaining.
Let's
Shit.
finish the game.
It is tough. No. That's it. Those are the
Oh, that
ones
was the last one that
like
got
those
us going.
questions.
Those
the
were good.
dramatic one. All right, cool. And now, just to close up and wrap up here, what would you say is the biggest lesson so far that you've learned from the other person, and one that I think I look at, especially when I talk to Sabby, the thing that I love the most is just how you protect her, right? And not only from like a financial standpoint, right, but just in life. I love the protection that you provide to your queen. And I think it's something that a lot of men need to be doing more of, just in every aspect. Because the reality is, if you're not protecting your woman, somebody else is going to come protect her.
Yep.
And that's in just every regard. If you're not talking to your woman, somebody else is going to be talking to
You're
you.
not giving her enough attention.
If you're not giving her enough
Oh, she
attention,
gonna find the
somebody else
attention,
is
trust
going to
me.
give your
Yeah.
woman attention. I think you
It's
do a
true.
phenomenal job of that.
Thank
He
you.
does.
But from a lesson standpoint, what would you say is the biggest lesson that you've learned from
From
the
each
other
other
one?
or
Yeah.
from the other
From
one?
each other?
No, you from her and
Yeah.
her from you.
The biggest lesson?
Biggest lesson.
Biggest lesson I've learned from Mandy?
Trying to think.
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
And take some time. It's all right.
Biggest lesson.
I like the
The do.
yeah. No, I like it.
Honestly, the biggest lesson that Mandy's taught me is how to love. Was how to love. Honestly, is how to love somebody so much and just like you said, protect them, be the best version of myself for them. She's taught me that she's taught me that a king needs a queen. Plain and simple. There's no king without a queen out there.
Yeah.
There is
and when
no,
I first met you, how much you've changed since then too.
No, there is. And she's taught me a lot. She's taught me that I'm more powerful with her than without her.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought the opposite for a little while. And when I was young, in my young career, and I accomplished a lot, so I'm not gonna say I messed up, but I'm way more powerful as a man with my queen. I think she's taught me how to love. She's taught me how to appreciate, and she's taught me how to be the best version of myself.
I like it. That was good. Gosh, I gotta set up to that. No.
Are you nervous?
A little bit. I would say the biggest lesson I've learned. Because we are different, and I like take things from Sabby, and I think vice versa. Like I feel like I've learned a lot being with him in the essence of like really trying to balance, like balancing life in general, but like also having the healthy balance of like not trying to fix everyone's problems, like I've talked about in the last episode. I tend to do that, and like just focusing on, putting our relationship first, and that, like his mom always says too, that we always quote her, but like we are the trunk of the tree. So when we do have kids, it's like really focusing on that. And I feel like because I didn't see that so much, I feel like I now want to be that wife and mother, to my children and to Sabby. Like I really want to own in on that and like become that woman. So I feel like he's taught me that a lot. And I feel like the other thing I would say is I love how like he's taught me the biggest lesson I feel like is that like to just not give a damn about what people think, what people say, because he does a really good job with like not caring. Like he says, he's full transparency and says what he says, but like he doesn't, before he says it, and sometimes it can get him in trouble, but I think it's for the better anyway, but it's like he just doesn't give a shit about what you're going to think about what he says or what he does. Because at the end of the day, it's what he believes in, what he wants to do. And it's not hurting anyone. It's not like it's, but I just feel like that's something I've learned to like try to work on within myself, because I think I used to care a little bit what people think or say or do or how I'm going to make them feel. And like he's very like so transparent that it's like, no, I'm going to tell him how I feel because I'm going to nip this in the butt now so that down the road we don't have an issue, that like you weren't transparent with me. So I feel like that's a big lesson that I've learned as well.
No, I love that. I love she took that lesson too, because that's just from life experience, right?
Yeah,
being in a spotlight and have people talking about you. And I used to have the same thing when I was young.
You've been through a lot, that's why.
I've been through a lot, and for me, as a man, and even a woman, and you too, like it's just like I was in the spotlight athletically for a very long time, and I was always judged. And like you said, I did want to. It affected me for a while. Then I got to a point was like, buddy, you can't do what I can do. So why are you critiquing me? Why are you talking shit about me? And you get to that point where you really learn like,
can't please everyone.
I don't give a shit what you think about me. I know what I think about myself. And I think I try to pass that to her being in the spotlight now and her being extremely successful. People want to judge. And, the best thing I ever heard is you're never going to hear anybody talking shit about you that's doing better than you. So I just don't even really care what people say anymore. And I think that's the mindset people should come about, because we waste so much energy. About what we care. And even my depression and struggle I had dealing with football, it was probably because people bashed me all over the internet about my talent. But it was like I let their stupid opinion that wasn't real affect me. So I teach her that, and I'm glad that came about.
Yeah, it's a good lesson.
That's good. That's good.
And listen. One thing I love about you guys as a couple is the whenever the conversation about an ex comes up, it's never in a negative light. And it's something
just what you don't see behind closed doors. No, I'm kidding.
No. But see, that's fine though. Like that's fine. But what you do publicly, I think, is so important. And I'm coming from a space that I am divorced, and I don't speak bad publicly about my daughter's mother, because one,
which is great.
But it's the truth. Like, how do you look talking about your daughter's mother in a negative way? And not because it's not warranted. Like, she's a good person, and I just witnessed a very nice interaction between you guys one time at the gym. I remember you guys were talking to somebody, and then Sabby came over to me after, and I was like, yo, who's that? He's like, oh, that's Mandy's ex. And I remember being like, well, one, it's awkward, but two, that's dope. Like, and then I started sharing like, my thing. And I mean, we even all spent Christmas together. Like, you know what I mean?
When
Like
you have a
sometimes
child,
you just have
you
to
just
do
sometimes
things.
have to do things,
And I
yeah.
think just at your level, I think it's so important. And too many people, whether they're in relationships or not, they should stop bashing in a
Yes.
toxic way their exes. Whatever you do
100%.
behind closed
I
doors and
agree.
you're talking about, that's fine. But I think that's important in a relationship, and you guys embody that too. So I just want to
The reality is, though, that ex made you the person you are today.
correct,
Right? Good
Wow.
or bad.
Wow.
And that's, remember that.
Wow.
That ex made you who you are today, and you should be grateful for that. 100% should be grateful for that, regardless of how you
Yeah,
spin it.
and
man.
I don't agree with just publicly. You know, like
Yeah,
you said, there's no
100%.
point in doing that on,
Yep.
you know, I like that.
Final words, I guess, to any relationship that's really out there. Like, if you can give one sentence of advice, you know, to maybe couples that are building together, how would you guys leave the listeners?
I think we might have said it earlier, but maybe more specifically, like, you know, you're going to have your struggles with, and what you see on social media is not real. Obviously, you only see the good. You don't see what goes on, you know, the struggles and the trials and tribulations and everything. So I feel like Sabby said earlier, is like, it's always going to be a work, and no one's perfect. And it's also always worth fighting for as well, right? Like, no matter what happens, and we're big believers in, you know, talking, communicating, therapy, all that. Like, I think it does a lot of help. But I think if there's issues, you need to address the issues. Like, not bottling up is probably the worst thing you could do, because one day you're just going to explode, and it's going to be like, you know, what the hell? You haven't said anything. So I think that's like the worst thing you can do. So communication, and you're going to have your issues, but everything, you know, you love that person for a reason, and it's worth fighting for. So you just have to fight through it, and eventually, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, it'll all be worth it.
Great. I would say that the grass isn't greener on the other side.
It's a good
The
one
grass is green where you water it, and I think too many people give up too quick. I think if you find somebody you love in which you're in a relationship, obviously you have some sort of connection with them, and as it grows, you say "I love you," and things get rough. Don't be quick to get out. I think it's something that it's a constant battle. It's a constant work. And we're only married less than a year, and I'm learning every day to be a better husband. But if I had to give some advice, number one is people need to realize the most important decision you're going to make your whole life, by far none, is your significant other who you marry. And that's just reality.
So
and I think
true.
you need to put more emphasis on that, because they need to have the same mindset, goals, approach to life, religious beliefs, all those above. Do not pick for physical attraction or sexual attraction like that, because that will be over quick. But my advice would just be the grass ain't greener too. So like I said, it's
like
green
that.
where you water it.
I love you guys.
Good one. Aw.
For real, you
so-
guys are great together. And I love that, you know, you guys are awesome individually, but I think you are even better together.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it. I am.
Extremely
I
grateful
like
for you
that.
guys coming and you know, talking with me. And
Thank you.
Sabby sitting in the waiting room for the first hour.
Two
and a half.
For our
long
hour and a half
podcasts. I love it.
But no, I'm so grateful for you guys. And if you guys wouldn't mind just sharing where everybody can find you, plug the podcast, plug anything that you guys want to do.
So thank you for having us. And you guys can find us on our podcast, Power Alphas Podcast, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as my social medias are all at Mandy Sacks. And your social media?
Is Sabatino P 24 is my Instagram, and look out for my new program coming out, Lifestyle Reset.
Yes.
It's going to be a whole adventure to become a better man, not only in the weight room but in life. And I'm excited to launch that, so you guys will see it real soon. And
Thanks
thanks for
listening.
having us.
Awesome. Guys, listen, follow them. Good people, solid advice, great relationship, both individually and collectively. Extremely grateful for you guys for listening and tuning in. As always, you can shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
The Piscitelli's in the building.
Love it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. That's another epi in the books. You can follow us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. Come on.